Rejuvenated here, joined by UFC welterweight Darren Till. It is June 29th, and Darren, we've not heard from you since March. I guess the obvious question to start off with is how you doing, and where have you been since then?
I'm 100%, mate. I was just regenerating. It's like taking time out. Obviously, that's a cliche because every person says that after a win or a loss, but just trying to regenerate. Not the focus, but just regenerate my life and what direction I was going in, what I was heading in, and it's been a crazy few months, and right now, this week, I'm 100%. I'm perfect.
Yeah, obviously we have to go back and talk about London. Let's talk about the build-up and the fight night itself. Like, how were you feeling ahead of that?
Yeah, good. I trained hard for it and put my work in and that, but maybe it was sort of like me outside life of the gym. I was focused, but when I'd leave the gym, it wasn't a case of I wasn't going home and resting. I'd be off doing things. I'd be in the casino sometimes late at night, and it was just, I don't think the focus was 100%. I think it was 50%, which it definitely can't be in this game because you can suffer vital losses because of stuff like that. So as I say, mate, regenerating. But leading up to the fight, I was good. Obviously, it was quite a hard weight cut, and then in the fight, I was just tunnel vision. I wasn't trying to play or figure him out. I just wanted to land on him, and I did land in the first, and then he landed in the second, and it was lights out. I think it was more hateful because I always told myself I was sort of a superhuman, and I could never be knocked out, and then to get knocked out sort of, it hurt a bit, but I've got over it, and it just happens, and definitely the man that night who was the better man who won. I'll always say that. I was speaking to someone, it was 3 days ago before I messaged you for the interview, and sometimes, yeah, there's reasons to why you lose fights. Do I think Masvidal's a better fighter than me? No, I don't. I think he was a better man than night, but I don't think he's a better fighter than me. That's no disrespect, that's just how I see it. I don't think Woodley's a better fighter than me. Me 2 losses have suffered. But there's guys sometimes, and they'll come out after a fight and they'll say, oh yeah, I didn't win that fight because I had a broken ankle going into the fight. And to me, that's bullshit. That's total bullshit, because what you're trying to say is that going into that fight, you had full confidence you were going to win that fight. You believed you could win that fight. And now that you've got beat, regardless, you probably did have a broken ankle or an injury. That doesn't matter, because you had that injury going into the fight and thinking, I can still win this.
Yeah.
So then the fight's over, you've lost, so the blame falls back on to the ankle. Same as Anthony Joshua just lost to Andy Ruiz. And all I keep seeing is he needs to move trainer. Yeah, give the fucking... I'm not his biggest fan. Everyone knows I'm a diehard Fury fan, but fucking hell, man, the guy's just lost a fight. Let him lose a fight. It's like that. We go through generations, not to go too much off topic, but now is sort of the social media generation, in it. It's everyone. I could beat every single person on the UFC roster, men and girls. I could be just a total 100% human being, no wrong or anything, and there'd still be bad opinions out there. There'd still be someone who's got 10 pence to throw in at me. But I think that makes the fighter.
Yeah.
And we live in sort of this generation now. It's the social media generation where everyone's just got something to say. Everyone's an expert, and stuff like that. I don't mind people having opinions, but it's a very if you look closely, it's more negativity than it is positivity. You know what I mean? And it's just not. You need to sort of zone out from it sometimes. That's why sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, right, time to turn this off and that off, and turn WhatsApp off and Instagram, because some days, I was over in Dubai, and a very smart guy said to me, when are you actually in the room with your kids? And I was like, well, I'm always around my kid. I'm always on FaceTime to my kid in Brazil. I'm always with my daughter. He was like, no, I'm asking you, when are you there? When you're not looking at it, but then you're checking your phone, or then you're looking at the telly. When is everything doesn't matter, and you're just there with it? And I sat back and thought, and I was like, well, not as much as I should be. No, I was honest with myself, and he was like, I'm trying the same myself, and that's what we're trying to strive for, you know.
You deleted your Instagram for a while.
Yeah, that was because
Was that because of that?
That was because of the Tenerife incident, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't rob a taxi.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But that was just because of the Tenerife incident, you know. As I say, mate, I'd be sitting here and I'd be lying to you and to myself and to everyone if I said that just that many comments coming in and messages didn't get to me. It does effectively over time get to you, and when you sit back and you go, well, why is it getting to me? Who is that person? I can't change the opinions of anyone out there, and what they're saying is it's about themselves. It's they're not happy with something with themselves, and their opinion is spiraled from themselves. I would never be able to settle if I wanted to change the opinion of every person out there. So, as of lately, I really don't care.
Have you?
And I say that a lot. I really don't care.
I don't care.
For saying it.
Have you really kind of taken a step back from the amount you're looking at your phone, Instagram, and all that sort of stuff? You'd say.
A hell of a lot. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. This is very funny, and I was with a friend, a very good friend. He's actually a sponsor, but he's also a very good friend. He's my protein sponsor. We was having a real chat for like. I only went there to see him to drop a present off his baby. We ended up spending 4 hours. I actually missed the first class. Well, there was traffic, but I'd left late. I had enough time to get to class, but I didn't realise I'd left rush hour. But we were just chatting about so many things, and one thing that I noticed is that I had Instagram off my phone the other week for like 1 week, and then it was mad. I was sat there when I put it back on, and I was like, oh yeah, and I was like scrolling madly, and I had thousands of messages, and it was like I had missed out on something, and I'm like, oh, well this has happened, and it's like I'm sat there and I'm thinking, and then I put it down. I was like, I haven't missed out on anything. No. I don't really need to.
The world continues to go round, right?
Well, continues.
Yeah. After that fight, then kind of talk to me about the few days after that fight. What happened? Like, because obviously we didn't get to talk to you after the fight. No one knows. No one's really heard from you since then.
Yeah. Well, I went to Canada. Obviously, I got businesses over there, so you know I'd had a trip planned before the fight to go over there. So I just spent five days there with my friend, and I just started cracking on, mate. You know, I was training again, but you know, I was sort of a little bit broken inside. I didn't really know which direct. 2 losses. This is the thing. The amount I've done, the amount of fights I've won, but them 2 losses, it's like I was defining myself from them 2 losses. But it wasn't just me. It was the comments. It was the messages. It was this. It was that. And then when I think, well, hang on, I've had more than 100 wins in my career. I've beat so many great fighters inside MMA and Muay Thai, and even when I had a few boxing fights, why am I letting these 2 losses define me? But I wasn't thinking like that back then. I was just sort of training, cracking on. I was a little bit broken inside.
Yeah, I'm sure. Have you watched the fight back yet? And like, your coach Colin, what's the feedback been?
Colin's just, you know, he's the man, as I always say. He's just there. He's there through thick and thin. It doesn't really matter to him, and you know, you have to analyse situations, and he's analysed it, obviously. I've watched the fight, and you know, there's not a lot to say. It's not really anything about it. The only fact about the fight is that it hurts just getting knocked out a bit. And a lot of greats have been knocked out, but you know, it just hurts a little bit. So I always propel, I always say to everyone, I'll always give an honest insight, an honest opinion, whether you agree or not. I'll always be honest with myself and to everyone out there. So, you know, it's like Marmite, whether you like it or not, I will always be honest. I'll never, you know, I never want someone behind me saying, no, say this or say that or be a puppet. No, if you don't like what I'm going to say, it's up to you whether you watch it or not.
Have you felt like any kind of feedback from fans or not, in terms of people still coming up to you in the street and stuff?
Yeah, before I was just in the hotel before having food, and guys coming up. I get it more than I've ever had it in my life. Like I literally, and this is no like exaggeration, I can't move on planet Earth without being noticed. Airports, cities, countries. I mean, I just got back from Colorado, and I mean, I was in a desolate place, and 5 or 10 people there just roaming, just knew me, stopped me and asked me photos. So it's not like, oh yeah, in Liverpool it's quite common. Everyone knows I'm from Liverpool, so people see, oh, it's Dan. No one's really bothered. But in other places they don't see me, so it's like I'm not gonna say England, it's planet Earth. You know, I'm recognised and I appreciate it. I don't ever consider myself like a famous person or celebrity or whatever. I just consider myself like a very well known fighter now.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we talked about what happened previously. We'll talk about what's next in a minute. But you mentioned it a bit already. Tenerife.
Yeah.
Your opportunity. What you say what you can about it. What happened?
Do you know what, mate? Truthfully and honestly, we went on a lad's birthday, booked it for a while, and we were going for 2 days, and so we were out there, we were having a good time. It's a nice place. And then we were in the hotel, and there was like these other guys in the room, and we weren't having trouble, but like, you know, just a little bit of bother broke out. Not like fights or nothing, but like obviously the hotel didn't get trashed. There was no like sort of criminal damage, but things got thrown and whatever. And then you know, I won't name no names, but a taxi was not stolen. Well, it was stolen, and it was drove around the block a few times and whatever. And obviously I weren't there at the scene. I was somewhere else as well. I'd left the hotel as well, and then when the police were like rounding everyone up, they'd seen me, and straight away the police was like, Darren Till, and I was like, yeah, and I just knew what was going on. I was like,
yeah,
it's all gonna fall on me. So then, you know, they took me and my friends to the cells, and it was funny because they were like, when we're in there, you know, you're meant to be in the cell. Like, one of the policemen was like, trains jiu-jitsu, and he's like, oh, follow me on Instagram and I'll, you know, bring you some food and that. And I was like, okay, yeah. So he brought me some like chicken and rice, and then he was like a nice guy. He kept me time good there, and then, you know, they made me pay like a real scandalous fine, like nowhere near of what it should have been. And the day we got let out, I was like, okay, hopefully this blows over. Hopefully nothing happens. And then I got a call off a friend, and he was like, you're in the Daily Mail.
Yeah, it's the Daily Mail.
I just got my phone, just put up today the plane mode, just thought, right, I'll just deal with it all. Head on now. I'll deal with Colin head on, whatever he wants to do to me. I'll deal with like all these consequences, you know. And I'm only human. I'm not sitting here like asking for forgiveness. Why would I?
Yeah.
You know, it was a stupid, silly thing. What I'm sure many lads on stag holidays do. The only difference being is I'm a very well known character.
And it gets in the Daily Mail.
Gets in the Daily Mail. But, you know, it's...
You mentioned at the start, you were saying, you know, you learned that your focus probably wasn't where it needed to be kind of before that fight as well. Was that incident as well a bit of a waking up of it?
I think
you shouldn't be getting involved in that sort of thing?
Not straight away. I think that after the fight, it wasn't like, all right, and now I need to be like 100% in to training. I think I was just sort of like in that moment, I was like, I was hurt inside, thinking, oh my god, how the fuck have I been knocked out? You know. So I think I always train. I do train, and when I'm in the gym, you know, Colin will vouch for me. There's never a day where, if I'm not in the gym, obviously I'm not giving 100%, but you can guarantee if I'm inside that gym and on them mats, I am always 100% there and giving it all. I have this mentality, if I'm not prepared to go to the gym and give 100%, I won't go at all.
Yeah.
That's just not how I work. It's either 100% or not. In everything involving or training hard and whatever. And I was just in and out the gym, but I just wasn't motivated by anything. Nothing was motivating me. I was just thinking, right, I just want to have that roller coaster of constant interviews and having to do this and that and this and when are you next fight? I just wanted a little bit of time away from it.
For sure.
It's not a crime. Every you know, I still consider myself. I still know I'm gonna be a great fighter. I know that, but it's not about being great in 10 years time. It's about being great right now, in the present. It's not about thinking about me fight and next fight and going, right, I'm going to be the greatest. It's about thinking about that next fight, win or lose. If I lose, okay. If I win, okay. You know, mentality has changed drastically.
For sure. Everyone's going to be asking, I'm sure they ask you every day, what's next?
When
are you fighting next?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just training and how do we say this, like, in every area in life, just bettering it by 5 and 10%.
Yeah.
Not 100%, not like, right, I need to be a Buddhist monk now and just do this. No, just 5%, just better in life and just in the gym and just around that positive vibe. And one thing I've taken on board, and I go back to it, is just not listening to the shite that people spout, that people say. This is how I think of it now as well, is if they see me face to face, would they really say that? Would they really say it? I think 99% wouldn't, and then the 1%, yeah, they've got bollocks, but then, it's different. It's different when you're face to face with someone. It's very different. So, it's one thing to just step back and just look. Not even from me, like stand there and look at Darren Till, reading the comments or listening to people's opinions or being in that roller coaster ride of what is fighting. And I've sort of took on a different mentality, and it's good. It's a good mentality.
Who is it you are listening to then? I'm guessing it's Colin.
Just someone. There is a guy who's I don't want to say helping me, but he's influencing me, and he's giving me some tips and tricks, and he's a top guy. He's not just like a 2-bit penny guy. He's top.
Is it like a mental coach, sports?
Not really. He's different. He deals with different in different areas, and he's one of the best in the world.
How long have you been doing that with him?
He spoke to me 3 weeks ago. He wants to speak to me and chat.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we'll have a chat on FaceTime. And he was like, we FaceTimed, and I liked his vibe and he liked mine. And he was like, if you want to come and see me, and we can have like a little sit down and whatnot, blah blah this, and come. And I was like, oh really? So you'd invite me? He's like, yeah. So I just went to see Cole. I said, Cole, I said, if you're not doing it, I said, can we go? And Cole's like, I'll go with you, Dan. Obviously Cole's down to the death, and we went. And when I got there, he was like, wow, you are committed. That was fast. And I was like, I know.
What was the one thing you kind of take from him then? If you summarise it in one thing?
I just took a lot, a bundle of things, a bundle of tricks and techniques, and just good advice. Just like, it's not like you see someone and they say, right, you need to do this, this and this, and you go, yeah, I didn't know that. A lot of the things what he said to me, I already knew, but it's going away from that and working on yourself and working on that instead of just going back and going like, yeah, I'm fixed now. Yeah. When you're not, I'm not saying I was broken because of the knockout. I wasn't like mentally unstable. I didn't have like a mental health problem. That seems to be like the new thing now. That's in. If you've got mental health, a lot of people have, but that seems to be the thing to say now. If you've got a problem and you're like, oh my god, I've got mental health problems, like, when it was watching Fury on the Joe Rogan podcast, like, that is a guy who obviously had some kind of issue. I didn't have an issue. Yeah. Like, I don't have an issue. I was just lacking in certain areas and maybe a bit feeling sorry for myself. That's not like a problem, a mental health problem. That's just like certain things need to be tweaked. There is some people out there who do struggle, and I'm all for the struggle, but right now it just seems to be like the in thing to say, I've got mental health problems. Everyone's on social media doing videos, this, I've got this, I've got that, my cat died and I don't know how to cope with it, or and everyone has got their own problem in their own little way, but it just seems to be so much spoken out there. I've got mental health problem. No, you've got a problem. Find a solution to the problem instead of making the problem worse by saying, I've got mental health now, I'm in this bad place and that,
So having seen him now, do you feel, are you going to continue seeing this guy or speaking to him?
If he wants to, if he likes me, but like, as I say, mate, I obviously had a problem with certain things, and he's given me the techniques and to work on myself and motivate me and sort of like, tweak them, as I say, mate.
Yeah, that's intriguing to see where you kind of go next with that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Are you excited now? Like, do you feel like coming off the back of that, having seen that guy now, you feel now a bit rejuvenated?
This week,
is that a good word?
Yeah, I did rejuvenated. Like regenerated. Like this week, I've had like such a since the 16th of March. This has been like the best week I've had. Yeah. I'm not saying every week. I was just like, as I spoke about, like. Yeah. I had a mental problem, obviously, inside my head. You have these voices and that, but I was just a little bit broken, being knocked out, a little bit of trouble in Tenerife, and all these comments and opinions, and even friends are like they're the cause of it as well. You go and see. I've got a lot of close friends. I've got some good close friends, and you go see 5 or 6 of them and they all say the same thing. It can come a bit draining.
Yeah.
Whereas I only want to hear it from Colin. You know what I mean? I just want my friends to be my friends. Obviously they care about me and give advice, but then you're seeing 6 or 7 different friends and they're just like, and they're going to you, well, what is it? And you're like, I don't really want to talk to you about it. I want to, Colin's there for that.
Yeah. He's that guy.
He's that guy if he knows if there's a problem. I wasn't even speaking to him much, you know, I just wasn't talking, there was nothing. And Colin was like, knew I needed to be tweaked in these certain areas, and he it was actually Colin got in touch with the guy, and he was on me for a few weeks, Colin, to speak to the guy, and I was like, oh yeah, and I was sort of like brushing it to the side, and then one day I said to Colin, Colin, you know, can you send me his number please? I wanna speak to this guy, and this guy, when I messaged the guy straight away, he just FaceTimed me. It was like full on, and the guy is full on.
If that's what you kind of need mentally, I guess, you kind of look at the physical side of things. Everyone always talks about your weight cuts before your fights, of course, before your title fight. That was such a crazy thing. Like, how did you feel going through it in March?
Just drained since like the Wonder Boy fight. Just drained.
Yeah.
Just drained. Just always having to be on. Just drained, and now I'm just not on. I'm just like, I just want to do well by Colin and Team Carbon, which is Team Carbon. I want to do well by my company, which is UFC. I want to do well by my family, and I want to do well by myself. You know what I mean? I don't want to. There's no one out there I need to please. It's like, it's, as I said, Jim, it's like, sometimes you look at guys, and I'm a criminal of this as well, and you're like, I don't like that guy, I'm not going to support him. So it's the same with me, you either support me or you don't. I can't change if you do or you don't. I can't change your opinion about me.
No, I guess that's a refreshing way to look at it.
Because beforehand it's like, before it's like, oh, I need to please these people, I need to do this to please, I need to be part of like a charity to please people, so people think Darren's a good guy. I know I'm a good guy. I don't need to please people by being involved with a charity or doing this or showing that I'm giving homeless. Every time I go past a homeless guy, I give them money. I give them 20 quid and whatnot. I'm only going to spend it in the shop anyway. But you know, I don't need to publicise that. I'm going to just give a homeless person 20 quid. Like me, please. I'm begging for you to like me. I don't really, as I say, I'm famous for this. I don't really care. I don't want to please the people. So you know, there is charities I'm involved with because I want to be involved with, because I like the cause that comes with it. Obviously I couldn't be involved with the millions, like you know, you're always getting asked, but people stop me and people, Darren, can you sign this glove? Yeah, of course, Darren, you know, we're auctioning something for a charity, you've got a t-shirt, of course. And there's actual charities where I'm for the cause. I'm involved in one, being particular, Charlie's Chance Foundation.
I saw that on your Instagram.
That's just like, you know, it's not like a company charity, you know, where you haven't got a clue where the money's going. It's just family, parents who care about the kids. There was another one, it was actually from another gym. The guy's kid, I think he got leukemia or something. He's like, and you know, I was off. It's just like stuff like that. It's like, you know, you've got a business, it's a company run business, or it's a business run by just two little old people. You're obviously, you know, my thing, I want to give my business to them, instead of the company generated business, you know, stuff like that. That's obviously off topic, Jim, but
no, it's good to hear. It's just like what you do, because you're not, like you say, you're not someone who goes out there and shouts out about it.
No, I'm not. You know, I've got a lot of nice things as well. You know, I've got a lot of nice clothes, nice watches and nice cars. You know, I don't need to be posting and flexing and it's just not my thing, Jim. It's just not my thing. I'm proud of what I've earned. I'm proud of what I've got. You know, now and then nice photos and shit. But you know, it's sometimes it's as I say, mate, this generation, what we're in, it's not even like the social generation, it's more becoming the Instagram generation. I don't really use, I don't use Twitter, I don't use the others, Facebook, I don't use that, but Instagram generation, as much as it's great, there's a lot of goodness on there, there's a lot of also things that can bring you in, like, you can look at people and the pain, every day they're posting for, I'm training so hard, and you think, wow, I should be doing what they're doing. Why aren't I doing this? But Jim, it's all bullshit. It's all 100% bullshit. It's not what it seems. And I've even said this to my girlfriend. I've been, you know, lying there sometimes, and you know, she'll be on her phone, And she's like, oh, she said it to you. She's like, look at this girl, the shape. She trains like 5 times a day. I just went, bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, she does not train 5 times a day. I said, look at the shape. I said, yeah, she probably really eats clean and trains once a day, but she does not. She's posting fat. She bullshit. She's like, I said, trust me on that. It's just the bullshit world. As much as it's good, it's the bullshit world. We're all trying to keep up with, like, there's something. Yeah. And we don't know what it is. You probably do the same in journalism.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I must admit.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, if I don't have a story or like something I want to post, I get like, you sit there like, what's going on?
Yeah, and someone, maybe higher or lower is doing all these, and you're like, why aren't I doing that? And it's the same.
Yeah,
someone's saying, I'm like, well, he's doing this, I should be doing that. No, bullshit. Just do what you know. As I said, I was having a long chat with my friend the other day, and I was talking to him about like the Mike Tyson mentality, and actually on my phone is my new profile pic. Sorry, there's a few. The profile.
It's Tyson.
Tyson
in his prime.
In his prime. You see, what's dead funny is as well, Jim. Like, he just didn't give a fuck, did he?
No. Like back in that day, he didn't have social media. He probably didn't have a cell phone.
But can you imagine if social media was around back in the day? Everyone would have hated him.
Yeah.
Because of the person he was. He had a lot of anger and violence and pent up in him, and he just wanted to fight and hate and kill people, and he cussed people. He said one time he was going to eat someone's kids at a Prince con. Yep. If you said that nowadays, like Deontay just said it, you get thrashed for it. But nowadays, Mike Tyson's a hero. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny how it switches.
It's fucking hilarious. So take on the Mike Tyson mentality. Just as I'm famous for saying, don't fucking care. Don't listen to the opinions of all these people who are obviously dealing with something in their lives, and they feel a need to bring you down. Like the other day I got a message about my kid. I posted a story of a kid, and it was like, yeah, that's an ugly fucking baby, you should have drowned at a birth or something. And I was just like, and I showed my girlfriend, I was just like, see what we're dealing with, babe? A lot of people...
You just got to think about who that person is though, right? Like how sad is that person?
Yeah, and there's the chat I was having with my friend, he was like, he was talking about that same thing, we were having the same chat, and he was like, if I got that, I'd have to accept the request and find out who that person is and it'd be on, and I said, yeah, but if I done that with every single person who messages me the bullshit, or that they're going to beat me up when they see me or whatever, I said, I'd never rest. And he was like, yeah. And it's not only me as a fighter, I'm sure many men have, I mean, look at on a bigger scale, look at the following Conor McGregor's got. Look at, I mean, can you imagine what is actually going through his head and the messages he gets and the pressure on him? People don't step back sometimes to, see the pressure from a point of view. That's why sometimes in interviews people say, oh, what did you think of what Conor done there? I'm like, it's none of my business, to be honest, mate. Yeah. I don't really care what he does. It's none of my business. If he's out there throwing phones on the floor or whatever, fucking whatever. It's not my business, and you shouldn't be asking me about it.
For sure.
Because I don't really care.
For sure. Like, everyone's going to care about what happens to you next. Is it going to be welterweight? Is it going to be middleweight? Who do you want to fight? When are you going to fight? There's a whole myriad of questions. I think everyone
I haven't decided myself, Jim. As I said, I'm just out that circle right now. Not the circle of fight. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking about every day my little diagram of life, getting 5% better in it, and then obviously in a few weeks' time, in a month's time or something, the UFC want me to fight again, obviously.
Have they been on the phone?
They was on the phone a bit, and Colin was like, he's not really training, he's not like in the best of places right now, and the guy here, Dana and the Hunter, they were just like, yeah, we understand, like we they like me as a person and as a fighter, obviously, and
he talks about you still.
Yeah, obviously. Listen, mate, regardless of the outcome at London, look at London. I mean, just look at London. I've watched it back. It was full to the fucking brim. I mean, no disrespect to anyone else fighting on that card, because they're all great competitors. But that card got sold out because of my name, no one else's. And that's not me being cocky or arrogant, but we all know that. And every single person gave it their all that night, especially my opponent Masvidal. But the card was sold out because of me. Yeah,
no, it's hard to deny that as well. Like and
I know that. That's why I was come out and say it.
It's undeniable. I think it's sold out in minutes. I believe so.
When it sold out, actually, one of the UFC guys messaged them, was like, the highest gate we've ever had in pounds. And I was just like, oh, that's nice to know. 18,000 people wanna
see you fight. Yeah, and I still think it's very fair to say there's still Like, regardless of 2 losses, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They still want to see you fight. That's why every single day, people like myself are getting asked, when's he fighting next? Who's he fighting? What's the inside track?
Of course,
I don't have a clue. I haven't spoken to you since March. So, like, you know, you consider that last weight cut, though.
Yeah.
Everyone is always... And, like, again, this is taking what people outside of your whole bubble say. They look at you and they think, you are massive. You're a big guy.
Yeah.
Is 170 still possible? Because, like, mate, I'm 32. Trust me, the body.
What? You'd be about what, 135?
if I was fighting, I would have gone from flyweight to featherweight because, like, strawweight. Okay, let's say strawweight, but your body slows down. It gets harder to cut those pounds.
As well, I seen when obviously TJ got popped for whatever he got popped for. As I say, mate, none of my fucking business really. If he should have been doing it, I don't think he should have been doing it. And you know, fair play that he come out and said blah blah. But again, none of my business. I'm talking about a fight now. When he fought Cejudo, he did look physically. He looked like me at 170. He just didn't look like the TJ, because TJ's a beast and Cejudo's a very good fighter as well. But I just think it would have been different at a higher weight. Yeah. So you know, I do have to think about them things, and you know, I wouldn't be small at 185, and I'd be right in the mix there with them guys, and they're all, as I say, the great guy, the interim champ. Israel, he's a great fighter. The champ's a good fighter. There's a few beasts. I always say the one guy who's a scary guy is Yol, but I know he's moved up now. And is he fighting again after he's just got a few mil?
He's just got
10 million, was it?
Something ridiculous. It was like 10 million from a drugs company.
Get me pop for something.
We've been running those tests again. You know, given you said you are in this, you know, just looking at your own life in this circle you're calling right now, but do you think it's realistic you fight this year? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Like, as I say, mate, you know, I'm not gonna say to you I'm back, because a lot of guys after the fight were asking for interviews off me, and I said to them, I said to the same two guys, I said, listen, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I've really got nothing to say. You're gonna put a camera in front of me, and what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say I'm back? Because I'm not back. I said I was back after the Woodley loss, so that was a lie. I just want to, as I say, Jim, be honest, and I'm not saying I'm back, but I'm just in my happy place now. I feel like the Darren Till before he was fighting in Rotterdam. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
You know, I got back from Brazil, and I was just in like such a. Obviously, there's still things that be getting better at. I'm not saying 100%. You know, I'm saying 5% and 10s. But I was just in this like world of just going to the gym, training, and I was training really hard. Gym, I was younger as well, obviously, and coming home and eating, maybe not eating the rightest things, but still eating okay, and back to gym, and that was it. And then Rotterdam, because I knew I was fighting such a hard guy in Boy, and he's in PFL now, isn't he? And then after that, straight away, Sean Shelby comes to me, he's like, you want to fight Cowboy? And I'm like, wow, like I've looked up to this guy all my life. Oh, you want me to fight Cowboy? And then I beat Cowboy, and then after that, well, we're gonna do a main event in Liverpool. It's needed, and then it's like, oh my god, who am I gonna fight? I'm gonna Wonderboy shit, and then you know we have a 5 round of sort of not the most exciting fight, but trying to figure each other out. And then after that, it's like, yeah, we give him the title. And
yes, it was a crazy roller coaster. It never stopped, did it?
It didn't. It wasn't like I sat back and was like, right, I'm gonna chill for a few months. I'm gonna get my game together. I'm gonna evolve. I'm gonna try and, you know, work on these 5%. Well, I didn't know that back then. Yeah. But still, it was sort of crazy. And the I'm not saying the fame, because I ain't like a famous guy. You know, you look at the celebrities and the famous people are all the ones on TV. I don't watch none of that shit, but they're famous and celebs. I'm a fighter. I ain't no famous guy. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a well-known fighter.
Yeah, you are a well-known fighter. I think you're probably a bit...
One thing that made me happy was Gary Lineker when we were in Madrid. Gary Lineker,
right? He wanted a photo.
He asked me for a photo, yeah. Oh, God. And my mates were like, Gary Lineker just asked for a selfie because his boys are fans. And my mate was like, did you see that? And I was like, yeah. I was like, fucking sick that way, innit? And I went away, I was like... You know, and even though Gary, he's been hated on because he hates on Liverpool a little bit, I was still shocked. I was like, because he come up to me, I was just sat in the other area, we were at the BT event, and he was looking, and I said, hello, you okay? Obviously respectful, and he come over and he went, my sons are massive fans, can I get a selfie? And I went, yeah. And then I said, can we get a photo as well? I was asking back, that was like a moment where I was like, fucking hell, Gary Lineker, you know what I mean?
Well, there you go. Like, you are a lot more known than you think.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I realise now, Jim, because I've travelled a lot this year, and I haven't been to one airport or city where there's not been people who've known me. But I just don't like throwing words like that about.
Yeah. You were just talking there, and we were saying it was like a roller coaster. It kind of never stopped after Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Like Dana did an interview early this week, and he actually was talking about you, and he said, he thinks he may have pushed you too hard too soon.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you kind of agree with him?
No, I don't, because I think like I was wrong to myself, to my craft. Like, I wasn't fully. I can admit this, 100% committed. Like, as I say, there could be days where I could have been at home, just chilling, where I wouldn't have been out at home. For the Woodley fight in particular, I mean, that was one fight where I have to say I was in some condition. Like, you know, Brandon, yeah, I was in condition, mate. Like, I trained like a monster. Just as I say, mate, the better guy won that night. And then after that, it was sort of like before Christmas, wasn't it? You know, I'd had the baby, and then, you know, it wasn't. And then I got the Masvidal fight, and as I say, maybe my hand was sort of 50% in. But that ain't to say, I don't like sitting here, Jim, and saying stuff like that sometimes, because people can probably look and go, obviously I don't care what people look and say, but people can probably think that he's giving excuses. It's not excuses, it's an analysis of myself and what I was doing. I'm not going to sit here and lie here and go, I could come out, I've got bad knees, haven't I? I've got bad shoulder. Masvidal only beat me because, you know, my knee went and that. I'm not about that, Jim. I'm seriously not about that.
You know, we've got a fight coming up actually this weekend. It's Masvidal Askren.
Is it this weekend, is it?
Masvidal Askren actually next weekend. So by the time this goes out, it'll be next weekend. But yeah, Masvidal Askren. Do you kind of look at that and think, that might have been me? Or like, actually, who do you think wins that?
If I beat Masvidal, it would have been me versus Usman.
Yeah?
That's what would have happened.
Wow.
But now it's Askren Masvidal. I think if Askren wins, he probably might get a shot. I think Colby's just waited too long on the bad boy.
He's fighting Lawler now.
Is he fighting Lawler?
Yeah.
Is he? I mean, it's an okay fight. I say okay fight because one side of the fight for me brings it. That's Lawler. Colby's got hype from who he is outside the octagon. Inside the octagon, he's not an exciting fighter. He just, you know, he goes, you know, he's not an exciting fighter. I don't think he is. He's a good fighter, yeah, but he's not a Lawler. Like, it was funny because I called out Lawler and the day before, my coach, Colin, was like, you know, fight blah blah. I was like, no, Colin. And then the next day he texted me, he's like, you're a fucking schizophrenic. And I was like, he was like, you just called out Lawler. I was like, I know, but short notice to fight that type of guy. I was like, fucking have it. And then I realised that everyone else was calling out. I was like, I ain't get it. Give someone higher. Give someone who's been winning fights or something like that to fight.
So just for the record, Masvidal Askren, you reckon Askren? Because you two had that kind of thing in London, which was I don't know.
Do you know Masvidal, mate? He's a fucking he's a fucking, one thing I'll say about him, mate, he's a respectful guy. He come to me after the fight and I was not crying, but I was fucking, I had my head down like this and I was just like this, and something tapped me on the shoulder and I looked and it was Masvidal, and he was like, you know, he shook me and I was like, you fucking nearly had me in the face there and blah blah, and he was just, you know, still 100% sick for him. I want that fucking rematch, you know, I want a rematch, but he's a good guy. But I think him and Askren, I don't want to underestimate Masvidal. You know, I'm going to stay on the fence with the fight.
Yeah.
Because Masvidal could just pull something out the bag and defend them awkward takedowns and stuff like that, you know. Ben's doing okay and he's got a lot of hype around him. The thing with Ben is, you know, he is a good fighter and he is a very smart guy. The only thing that pisses me off with Ben is he just loves the sound of his own voice. He just doesn't shut up. And he's a very patronising man as well. I don't hate him or like him, he's just loves the sound of his own voice and he's just a bit boring. Just shut up, mate. Just give it a rest.
Is there a few of these guys that could tempt you back to 170? People like Askren, people like, everyone wants to see you fight Mike Perry. We've talked about Mike Perry a lot. Perry, he's always been great to me. He
messaged me
cool
on
guy.
Instagram the other week.
Yeah.
We always message each other, and I always speak to Usman sometimes. And yeah, but as I say, Jim, right now, I couldn't give you an honest answer, mate. I wouldn't want to give you the wrong answer. So, you know.
You back in the gym training full time, right?
As I said, Jim, I've always been in the gym.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's it's not about like there's guys. I said this years ago to a guy in Brazil. He wouldn't miss a class, Jim. Wouldn't miss a class. But it's what he would do. He wouldn't do jack shit in the class. He was just a lazy character. And one day I said to him, are you gonna like pull your finger out? He was like, I am my mate every day. I said, yeah, you are. I said, but you don't do nothing. I said, it's what you do when you turn up. It's like, right now, you know, this week I've been training, and it's what you do inside the gym. You've got to be in there actually and wanting to progress, and that's what I'm doing right now. And as I say, mate, it's all for me and for Carbon and family and stuff like that.
Just lastly, if people come up to me in the next few days and they go, how's Darren Till doing? What should I say to them?
Just say Darren Till's living. He's just living. He's what response did they want from me? What was, you know, Jim, if you were to see me on the street and you say, how are you doing, would you expect me to go, well, do you know what, mate, I feel fucking shit right now. Like, the normal thing to say, oh, I'm sound, how are you? That's just back and forth, innit? I'm just living.
Yeah.
I'll always be upset from that Woodley loss and that Masvidal loss and many other things that happened outside the cage. Losing again, I'll be futuristically upset over another loss and whatever, and losses outside the cage and mistakes and whatever, but that's just a part of living, Jim.
Yeah.
Just fucking live your life, will you?
I'll always remember actually a conversation between you and Tony Bellew when he was talking about losing, and you were always saying, yeah, well, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Do you look back on things like that? Did that help?
Nick Pete always used to I said it in an interview with Nick Pete, and yeah, look at Tony Bellew, he's had it.
Yeah.
And look at Joshua, he's tasted it now. You know, hopefully Fury does never taste it. Maybe he might one day, you know, he's my guy, but it's just what you do after that, and it's how you get on with yourself, not for the... Do you really think Joshua... he probably does inside, but you really think he's caring about what everyone's saying right now? Like, leave your trainer of all that many years. Like, I don't really think he gives a fuck. And people just haven't got that right to say that. That bad, low opinions on things, that is the biggest superstar in boxing in the world, one of them, Wilder and Fury, and he has one loss against a great guy. I mean, I seen what Stephen Smith said about... Did you see that?
No.
Stephen Smith.
He talks so much rubbish.
He's worse than Askren. He just loves the sound of his own voice, and he just... At least Askren's looking intelligent. That Stephen Smith just spouts shit, and he just shitted on Andy Ruiz's parade, and I was just like, what a disrespectful human being you are. Like, you are so disrespectful to humanity, and that's it, Jim. If people ask, mate, I'm living.
That's good to hear. No, it was great talking to you today.
Right
It feels
now,
like you're on like a different
Right
path.
now, Jim, I'm going to drop me daughter off at her nan's, and then I'm going to pick Colin up, because Colin's got his dog at home waiting to get fed.
I do not want to piss Colin off. So, well, on that note, I've been Jim Edwards. He's been Darren Till. Darren, thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks, mate.